This guitar has forever changed my perspective on the thin body Stratocasters that are offered through Squire. And I always thought because of the body being thinner that it wouldn't be as good. But I'm going to tell you, this guitar is a jammer, and it's one of the best guitars in my collection. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how this came to be. Greetings everyone, Ray Landis here with another guitar adventure, and today I'm going to be talking about this specimen. And if you recall, in one of my recent videos, I had an order that I received for a Stratocaster body, and the Stratocaster body that I received came in and it had like a huge gash in the body, and I was a little disappointed that it wasn't in perfect shape, but I made the best of it. I was able to work with the guy that sold it to me, and we were able to put an insurance claim in for it, and the body was paid for, and then I was able to salvage it. And if you saw that video, you were able to see how I was able to put some cosmetic extras on it, namely a racing stripe, so that I could at least make it into a respectable instrument. And it turned out really well. I really like it, and I'm gonna give that to my grandson. That was kind of my intention in the beginning, but the guy who sold me the original body that was not in perfect shape as I had expected, he offered to send me another guitar body as a replacement. The only thing is that this one is one of the Squire bodies that are a little bit thinner than the standard Strat, but it is a Squire body. You can see the logo there on the neck plate. It's got a little dent in the back finish underneath of the neck plate there, and I'm not really worried about that. I mean, some of my better guitars have little dents like that. Of course, you want to start off with something that's perfect, but nothing. I'm going to say this emphatically: nothing is perfect. Even your best custom shop guitars, they have some imperfection, and it's all you have to do is just knock it once, and then it's not like it was. So anyway, this is called I think Cobalt Blue. It's really nice looking. Obviously, you can tell by just looking at it that the electronics are probably really cheap. I'm going to take all of the electronics out. I'm going to take the pickups out. I'm going to replace those with some Alnico 5s. I'm going to do some other little cosmetic things. I'm going to pull the bridge out. I have another bridge for this. It's supposed to fit. We're going to see. And I'm going to change these silver screws. I'm going to change those to black because the springs are black, and there's the grub screws that go into the bridge saddles in the new bridge. They actually are black too. And then I have a neck from another guitar that I'm going to... It's a great guitar, but I'm gonna take it apart and try to make a different guitar out of it. I'm always trying to tweak that to make it into something that I can enjoy. But I think this is going to be a nice instrument when I get done. This will be a regular oak Grigsby switch. These will be full-size pots. I'm hoping they all fit inside. The pickups and everything will be rewired. The tremolo is going to come out, and we're going to put in a full-size block. The shorty block, it'd be like 36 millimeters. And for those of you who don't know, I think these full-size are usually the full-size, not this one, are like 40 or 42 millimeters. The shorties are like 36 to 39, somewhere in that area. We're going to find out if the one I have fits in there, and hopefully we'll be able to make this into something really good. So I'm going to start taking it apart. I'll film some of that. I'm going to put some body shielding in there, and it's very nice and lightweight. For those of you who like lightweight guitars, this guitar is going to be something that's really easy to handle. One thing I do like about the back plate on this, if you notice, even though it's an import, it's got the offset screw pattern on the back plate, which most of the imports, I think, traditionally have had the ones that were straight across from each other. So that it makes this kind of special, I guess. But I'm sure that from what I've researched, that any standard neck, Stratocaster type of a neck, should fit on this. And the only difference is that there's going to be less meat. The body has less meat right here. I'm not sure exactly, the difference in the neck pocket other than that. But if that's the only difference, I think we can work with that and put a standard neck on there. And as long as we have some good tuners, this should make a really nice instrument. And again, those of you who like light guitars, which I do, this will be nice. A lot of controversy on the internet with different guys that say, well, a Stratocaster has to be this, has to be that. Well, a Stratocaster is a Stratocaster is a Stratocaster. I used to think that the only ones that were good were the USA Fender Stratocasters, but as I get older and have had a chance to try some of the different Squier Stratocasters, that they are Stratocasters. They're just a different tier, and they're good. They can be really good. Some of my favorite Strats that I have back there either have a Squier neck on them, or they're just a Squier Stratocaster, and I like them. I don't know if you think about the fact that people, take them on the road and put them under a lot of, strenuous use. Maybe you need to have that, that American-made instrument. But the Stratocasters that come from Mexico, the Player Plus series, and the Player series, they're the ones that replaced the American standard. So I mean, they're good. I mean, I have two of them back there, up top, right there and right there, and they're as good as any American standard that I've ever had. I mean, I don't notice that much of a difference. I mean, they've got great quality parts in them, and their parts are interchangeable. So yeah, I think that they're good. So we're going to find out what kind of instrument we can come up with this. So stand by, and we're going to add a little bit to this as we work it through. Okay, so since the body cavity on this Squier is a little thinner, I noticed that these contacts were actually rubbing up against the inside bottom of the route for the control cavity. So I thought, wow, maybe I should go ahead and try to remove some wood. And I thought, well, let me just try this. So I bent these back a little bit. I'm hoping that'll work, and that way they don't stick down as far. But I don't think it did any damage to them, and I think it'll suffice. I'm going to add some shielding tape, which has conductive adhesive. I'm going to do the rest of the pick guard, and then I'm eventually going to do the body. So that, I think, is going to make it a lot better. Full-size pots, a nicer switch. I'm going to put these pickups in it, so it should be a hot little guitar when we get done. These pickups are the gray bottom type, and nice that they would put wiring that is staggered, so there's no question as to where they go. So we're going to go ahead and install these and get things wired up, and looking good so far. Alright, I must say I'm very pleased with the way that looks. Other than the fact that I thought I had black knobs, I'm going to have to order a set of those because I want to use the black knobs, black tip, and black pickups, and then pickup covers, and then also I'd like to use some highlight black screws on the pick guard as well. I will have some silver, the bridge is silver, but the grub screws and the intonation screws are going to have black. They're going to be black as well. So I may put a black neck plate on it too with silver screws, but this turned out really nice. I'm going to go ahead and wire it up and get everything set, ready to go, and so far so good. Here we go. Plate. I'm going to take off the neck plate, and one thing I like to do with these neck plates after I take them off is the hole that is in the body is always, I noticed, threaded. And I don't know what the standard is supposed to be, but I like it so that the screw will slide through the hole in the body and not have to be threaded into these holes. The only threading that takes place is the threading that takes place in the neck. And that way the neck pulls tight against the body, and these holes are not any influence whatsoever is in regard to the threads. That's my preference. I know that there might be some other standards that people follow that are different, but I like that because it seems to make it easy to pull the body and the neck together when these holes are larger than the screws. When you can see these standard screws, they just, they thread in, and I'll make it so that these screws pass right through the body and they won't need to be threaded until they hit the neck. So next I want to take apart the tremolo and pull these springs off. Release the tension on that, and I want to undo the screws on the top here and take that tremolo completely out. Alright. There it is. Let's measure if we can. See what we're looking at as far as millimeters. Let's see, let's do it like this. It's upside down for you, but it's showing about 36 millimeters. So let's see what the new one looks like. Okay, so this new one is branded as a Wilkinson, and measuring, it comes up at just a little bigger. It's very close to 36. It's probably closer to a 37. So this one seems to drop right in. Looks like everything's going to, all the screw holes will match. And if you look at the back of it, it's well inside. So this is going to work nicely. Okay, so the bridge dropped in perfectly without a hitch. It looks to me as if the back is going to be fine. It's inside the cavity far enough. It's going to be perfect on top because all the screw holes matched up. And then what I normally do is I tighten it till it raises and then back it off. Tighten it till it raises and then back it off. So basically I did that to all of these. And this particular bar is nice. It's got an adjustment on the inside of the, I don't know if you can see that or not, but inside there is a set screw. Let me turn this light off, maybe that'll help. There's a set screw right there, and that is what adjusts the tension on the bar, on the push-in bar. So this is going to have a push-in bar. There's a little bit of movement, but I think that's normal. Once the springs are on the back, it pulls it tight, and then of course we'll adjust the intonation. I could check these one more time just to make sure. Yep, back it off. Just so it raises up just a tiny bit, and as soon as you see it raise up, back it off a little bit so it lays flat. There you go. Nice. Okay, I've got the new tremolo installed, and the full-size block looks really good. I used 4 springs because I think on this type of tremolo, I think I'm still going to deck the system so that it doesn't float. And I put a little bit of foam in there to see if I could dampen the springs so they don't make any noise. And I've tightened this up most of the way. It's just now starting to come through on the top of the cavity here, but I still think it's going to be okay. I'm probably going to have to deepen this just a tiny bit. I'm kind of nervous about that, but it seems to me that the switch is touching a little bit. The pots seem to be okay, but the switch, I'm not sure that's thick enough to do much with, but I may be able to bend the contacts so that they can fit down in there and not rub against the body, because I'm going to shield this. This I think is going to be fine. Okay, so you can see that I've got the shielding inside the entire cavity, and the wiring is nice and neat. And what I did is I came to this point with all of the ground wires and kept them separate so that they don't connect to the top of the base of the pot. So I've soldered here, I brought it to here, I brought it around and through this lug, and then soldered it to the body of this pot, and then came around here with a pigtail and connected all of the wires that are associated with the ground so that they can be pushed down nice and neat and not create any additional height on these pots. And as I mentioned earlier, the control cavity for this, because of the body being thinner, is just big enough to fit the pots. So I did all of the soldering on the sides in order to get the full-size pots, and the switch was very careful not to add any additional depth to the switch. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, and I don't know if you can see this, see if I can kind of bring it up. I'm going to take this lug right here, and I'm going to run a jumper from here to here. And what that will do is, I don't know if you're able to see that or not, the tone configuration that I'm looking for. So other than that, I think I'm ready to go. I'll go ahead and get her button back up, and then we'll go for the neck. Alright, I've got this thing almost ready for a neck, and I need to do just a couple more things to it. As I mentioned, I want to take these holes here and drill them out so that when I put the screws through for the neck, they don't bind in the body but only in the neck. And you can see I put the black screws to cover up the opening for the tremolo, and also I used the black screws too to put the pickguard on. Now there are some silver, so I'm doing a little mixture of silver and black. You can see the intonation screws, they're black. I've got springs that are black. The grub screws are black. The pickup covers are black. The knobs are white, but I have knobs ordered. I thought I had another set of black knobs, but I ended up not having those. And I've got the black switch tip. So I'm going to open this up one more time. I want to do one more thing to the wiring. and that is I want to put a little jumper on the switch so that my second tone control will actually work both of these pickups. In this configuration that I'm going to do, I'm going to have the neck pickup with its own, and then these two pickups, the middle and the bridge, will be both worked tone-wise from this lower tone knob. And other than that, it's almost ready for a neck, and I think I know what neck I'm going to put onto it. Alright everybody, this guitar is all done, and it's got a fabulous neck. This neck came off of another guitar, but I think it's better, even better than it was before on the other guitar on this setup. And you can see I finally got the black knobs, and everything matches on the front, and then on the back I ended up using a black neck plate. Everything went together beautifully. I did put a small shim in the neck so that everything would configure correctly, but this guitar is hot. It plays like a dream, and it looks really nice. So once again, this has changed my perspective on the thin body Affinity bullet type Stratocaster bodies. This thing is probably only about 5 pounds, maybe 6 pounds, and it just feels so nice, and it plays super nice, and has a great tone and everything. I'm not going to actually play it in this video because the video is already long enough, but I can tell you that this is a dream to play, and it is hot. What a guitar this turned out to be. Really, I guess one of my favorites. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you were able to gather anything from it that helped you in some way, I'm going to ask that you please go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I will be with you for the next guitar adventure.